Welcome to Stay at Homecoming 2021. It's an unusual homecoming year, but one that allows us to experiment with new technology and interact with our community in new ways. And that's not unrelated to the theme that we're going to be exploring in today's panel discussion, the future of P-12 education. And by P, we're referring to preschool through elementary and secondary school. And increasing attention in educational science is focused on early childhood education. And so we think it's very important when we're thinking about the future of education to think about 12 education. And we're very fortunate. My name is Richard Aram. I'm the Dean of UCI School of Education and a sociologist by training. We're very fortunate to have three of the leading scholars from the School of Education at UCI joining us today to talk about this important panel. And let me quickly introduce you to each of them, starting with distinguished Professor Greg Duncan. He is one of the leading economists of education in the country. He is working actively, chairing or co-chairing National Academy panels on that look to explore bipartisan solutions, policy solutions to address childhood poverty. He's also, during the pandemic, volunteered to serve on UCI's K-12 Restart Work Group, working to help restart the K-12 schools in the local Orange County community. We also have the good fortune to be joined by Professor Beth Van Ness. Professor Van Ness is one of the leading scholars in the country in the field of teacher education. We're very fortunate to have Professor Van Ness serving as the faculty director of our teacher education programs at UCI. And she's also the founding director, co-director of the Teacher Academy, a institute that we've put in place to better serve the needs of Orange County teachers. And finally, I'd like to introduce you to Professor Jun An. We're very fortunate to have Professor An join us at UCI. He's the most recent addition on this panel to UCI, coming about two, 3 years ago. I lose track of time, and the pandemic doesn't help. To UCI, UCI ran the first search in the country that focused on research partnerships, that took seriously the school improvement science behind research practice partnerships, looked for a national expert in that work. Professor An rose to the surface. We're very fortunate to attract him to campus, and he's running at UCI our Ocean Network Improvement Community, a school improvement community made up of about 10 local schools at UCI, which 10 local schools in Orange County that we partner with, providing research to support local practice. So with that said, I'd like to start this panel discussion off with kind of a big question. What are some of the big issues that we need to think about in P-12 education going forward, and how has the work at UCI or your work responded to those kind of questions that we're facing as a field? And I'll start it off, Professor Duncan, with you.
Thank you, Richard. So it's a pleasure to be here, and welcome everybody. The pandemic just dominates all things, big and small these days. And I think for the at least short run future of education, maybe the long run, we need to try to anticipate what the impact of the pandemic is going to be on school functioning, on student learning, and on the challenges that teachers are going to face, hopefully this fall when most all classes will be in person. We've had almost a year now of mostly online learning. We've had, mostly private schools bring back children into the classrooms. Some public schools have, some very large public schools